So right now, so whenever even so influencer marketing and all again is a big thing, right? Especially for both FMCG, B2C and all. Again, that whole question of what exactly am I going to speak to that consumer through that influencer? Right now, and hence I said about a homemaker, right? The moment you say a homemaker, there's a kind of a film, TVC, DVC comes to our mind, right? Serving food to the family, enjoying great family and all. Right now with influencers, we are making humorous content. And that's getting consumed, that's getting shared and all. And I think, and hence this signal, so there are two use cases for us at least in ITC. Yes, targeting the right kind of a people at the right moment, but I think a larger use case for us is the kind of creatives and what exactly I'm going to say to that consumer.
Correct.
Right? That is what these signals, these platforms is solving for us rather than targeting, because at the end of the day, platforms, the algo or whatever we call it, the kind of signals we give to the platform, it will optimize basis that. Now it's on us what signals we will push. So hence there are, like the way we define, there are 4 layers we define. We start with consumer traits. Right? Suppose for example affluence can be a consumer trait. After affluence we also get into the category. Right? If I get an understanding of people who have consumed bingo in the last 2 months, so that's like a category data. On top of it, we layer this first party, Meta, Google data and all, and last comes the demo data. So it's always in the conjunction and this mix of in middle, that is my signal and that's the signal, and so we work with, so our partner is Adobe. So we use Adobe Stack, we use Adobe CDP and all.
Okay.
And using that we try to create those signals and those audience cohorts which sits in our CDP, which gets pushed to these different platforms, and we keep using it and enrich it. And hence I was speaking with him on enrichment as well. Because as I said, right now I feel this is a great audience who love humorous content. Tomorrow that person is maybe all into a different zone of content. And that is how we are also, the consumer.
As consumers we move
we
on,
keep
right?
moving. So hence I think for us it's very, very important that how do I capture this moving target.
Got it.
So I think so that's my thought.
No, great points here.
No, I agree with Suman and Aditya that I think it is
very good points, good conversation.
Some of the customers is the same for different categories, and what I've also realized is more often than not their motivation to buy a different category will vary. So what might seem like a behavioral input on actual behavior, actual output, it might vary. They might get swayed by a different kind of proposition and content for a set of categories versus when they are buying something else which is slightly premium or differentiated or has a different use case, their behavior might vary. So very difficult to just put them into only one structure saying that female age 25 to 40 and SEC and geography. I think it has to, and I think quick commerce to us has solved a few of these things because at least we're getting far more sharper data, not just relying only on data, but I think it has to be combined with a combination of softer content consumption signals, so to say, and layer the plans.
Okay, that's useful. So what we'll do is that I think one part which we just touched upon, that technically demo is become like the last filter.
Yeah, for us it is.
It's very well. That's one shift which we could all agree, which has really happened in the last 10 years. Which was the first filter has become the last filter in most cases, right? And we all recognize that today there is diversity of signals which are there. As organizations, are marketing organizations doing really enough on that is a question mark. Because there is so much happening out there, but you may introspect and say, is my organization really gone all out in understanding signals? Is kind of a grey area in my view. There is a lot to be done or can be done, but there is progress definitely, but a lot can still be done there. So
one thing I would want to add, I think there was a slide or there was a call out saying the signals are only the same. That's the hypothesis or the
assumption
view.
Yeah.
But I feel signals have evolved. I have a contrary view.
Please.
It's just that people or the market or the brands or the say industry is not able to capture those signals. Is what I think it's a capturing inefficiency is what I feel. But signals have definitely evolved, is my view. Meaning again, just I think few of my friends here from FMCG have told a lot of things, and I have also worked with a lot of these leading FMCG brands. Maybe one anecdote that I had with one of the, I think if somebody is here from TCPL, I think they'll be able to appreciate it. So one of the anecdote when I went for a meeting with my client back then when it was TCPL, so I had gone there. They told we want to target, say, an audience. I was working in Flipkart back then, so that's the context. So and I had gone to TCPL's office, right? So they told we want to target audience specifically who are into the grain size of the or the size of the grain of the tea powder, and I'm like, how do I do that? So I think there are definitely the signals have evolved. It's just that you don't know how to
Got it.
tell. Maybe the insight that the brand told me was people in East are very specific. If it is fine powder, it's a dust, it's a leaf, or so on and so forth. So there's a lot of tangible part to it, but there's no data that you can tell if somebody who's buying Tata Agni is a person who is interested in a tea dust compared to a tea leaf or something like that. So I think the evolution of signals have happened. It's just that the industry or people are not able to say capture it in a way that data can talk. And that is one thing that I want to leave it to the audience here. Second thing, from my very recent experience of Titan, right? So I basically, again, just about my profile, I look into the smart wearables and smart watches specifically. We don't have any wearables portfolio yet. Watches is the only thing. Soon we will be having the eyewears and say rings and so on and so forth. But the learning here in the market that we learned from the secondary data or the market data is smartwatches is considered as a premium product and a premium kind of an offering compared to maybe your mainline analog watches and so on and so forth. But again, what is the definition of premium? So I come to you, I want to do run a campaign to do a premium, say campaign for selling my premium watches. But how do I tell that somebody is a premium user? So maybe if somebody is having 4 credit card, is he the premium user? No. Does he have the education? If I tell people who are like say graduates and above are the people, no. Because even Stanford or MIT MBA grad or say a PhD holder may not be able to use the 100 features that are there in the smartwatch. And maybe somebody will do away with the smartwatch in 2 days and then throw it in a corner and so on and so forth. So when you tell it's a premium product, but what is the signal for that premium product that you are putting in the market? I feel we are not having enough data points to measure it. I think the measurability part is where the limitation is. It's not about the signals. Signals are definitely there. I think it's just that we don't have necessary way to quantify it. So I think data talks on quantification and we don't have the measurability to it is what I think is the failure here as a marketer. So that's something that I want to leave it across.
Understood. Great. Perfect. We have a new gentleman in the room. So,
Hi. Sorry.
sir, if you can introduce yourself.
I'm Yash Kumar Sota. I take care of retail marketing for Prestige exclusive stores based out in Bangalore. Earlier I worked with brands at Paragon as well as Raymond for a longer stint.
Awesome. Good to meet you, Yash. Just moving on from here, since we just touched on, we're going to like probably go and do a little zoom in on that box of deterministic data. So when we speak about data, and if we just now for a second just zoom out, the one thing which has really happened in the last 5 years or 6 years, if I were to say, all of us are doing far more number of transactions, and with UPI, with the whole digital adoption, there is a massive explosion of digital transactions, right? If we had to look at internet or if we had to look at digital a decade ago, someone would have said that browsing data is the biggest data, because in that sense, like Google Meta or large platforms where you had 20% of the publishers with 80% of the traffic, right? So you had sizable browsing data, okay? But with transaction data, it's a fairly democratized world. It's not a world where 20% of the platforms are going to have 80% of the data, because digital transactions are everywhere, right? So as a consumer, I'm leaving breadcrumbs of data when as a consumer, when I'm on Zepto, when I transact on Zepto. Zepto is collecting a lot of data, basis the category, basis the frequency, basis the value, of that product category itself, which pin code, so on and so forth. So there is from a CPG perspective a behavior data which is there. Now that sample itself is about 90 million users, say let's say. Large sample enough saying that okay, Zepto is sitting with 90 million of quick commerce signals there, right? When we talk of platforms, and I'm talking about as consumers, we leave breadcrumbs of data everywhere. So for example, when I go to D2C sites, okay, today there are, as we all know, there is a rise of D2C brands, which have grown on the back of Instagram, because discovery happened and they've become 50 crore business, 40 crore business, 100 crore business very rapidly in a very short period of time, right? Okay, up until COVID or post-COVID, we largely had most digital transactions happening on Amazon, Flipkart, marketplaces. But in the last 2-3 years, the D2C platforms have surpassed marketplaces as well, right? So people are again leaving their transacting behavior there. Okay, and for example, a logistic company like ShipRocket, which is in the delivery space, is connected into the D2C ecosystem. So ShipRocket in the ecosystem is now having transacting signals, basis merchants, basis transactions. So there is significant data there as well, right? And all of this didn't exist 5 years ago. Let me just emphasize that. Razorpay payment gateway, which is today representing about almost 52% of the online transactions. They are again connected to merchants, they are connecting into every other digital platform. So there again you're saying, oh, there are almost 400 million users there, where right from insurance to pension, to loans, okay, or air tickets, or movie tickets, or even
viewers.
or yes, OTT paid subscribers, you name it, you would say that the payment gateway is also connected into that ecosystem, right? A telecom operator, they are also tracking today's signals, So we go to financial marketplaces to avail a loan. They are again tracking signals on credit scores, income, affluence. So there is, as Akash also was just mentioned, that there is explosion of signals. Okay. So in the ecosystem, what has happened is that signals have exploded. Yeah, and that is where what I'm going to just bring this out, that what Audience Pro has done, or what we were trying to solve. So when we started building this platform 5-6 years ago, it started with the basic thought of transactions will rise, the number of signals will explode. What if we are able to kind of bring a range of signals, and make this as a box available independent from media platforms. So not make it a part of a Google Meta or any digital media buying platform, but give marketers a data infrastructure stack, if I were to use that heavy word, or a consumer intelligence stack. Saying that okay, here is a stack, which is you can get access to like 2,500-3,000 signals from here, which are real-time, fresh, picked it up, so that you can apply any of these combinations and then decide where you want to take these signals. You want to take it to YouTube, you want to take it to Hotstar, or you want to go ahead and take it into Meta, that's your call. So just decoupling signals from media decision. So that's where we did that. We'll just show you a small video on how we kind of brought this together and made it easily discoverable, and to a point that a marketer can now keep this stack with them, and they can play with it. When I say play with it, it's their decisioning team. So if they are choosing signals from an independent platform, that becomes their own proprietary intelligence over a period, because they are taking the signals and applying it for campaigns. Yeah, and I'll also talk about the measurability part of it. Yeah, but let me just play this video.
In this video, we'll walk you through Audience Pro and explore the key features available within the platform. Once you log into Audience Pro, click on the Add button in the top right corner to begin creating an audience for your campaign. You will now see the page where you can build your audiences. Enter a name for your target audience and select the country you want to build the audience for. After selecting the country, click on Define Audience. This is where you build your segments by curating audience from 2,000 plus available segments. You can select from transactors, shopping behavior, and attribute-based segments. Let's start by adding segments. Let's say you go to the Transactors tab, explore finance and insurance as a category, and select banking loans. Under that, you can further select a specific cohort, such as personal loan, and even refine it based on recency, frequency, and value. Continue building your audience by selecting relevant segments as needed. Use the AND or filter to further refine and structure your audience. APRO Copilot will also recommend relevant segments based on the audience you are building. Your estimated audience size will be visible in real time. Once you've selected all relevant segments, click on Add. You will now see your selected audience displayed on the screen. If required, click the edit icon to add or remove segments. Next, select your preferred channel for activating the audience. After selecting the channel, click on Send Request. Your requested campaigns will be visible under the Campaign App page. Brands can seamlessly activate their audiences directly from their Google or Meta ad accounts, just the way they're used to. Easily compare APRO-powered campaigns with your BAU campaigns and witness lift in campaign efficiency. Audience Pro platform provides access to diverse attributes coming from 20 plus high-quality partners. Audience Pro, converting deterministic insights to marketing efficiency.
So what we've done is, would like to have some feedback here. So what we did is basically just to explain the architecture of the tool. We built this tool in a manner with a foundation principle that we are a zero storage platform. The platform does not store anything, but the platform provides the marketer an access to 640 million profiles and 2,000 plus segments. Okay. So what it means is that when we are talking about the 20 plus partners, whether it is a Zepto, Razorpay, any one of them, and a marketer on top of this can also add their bespoke partners. It's not limiting. So when we were making a mention that the marketer can own the consumer intelligence stack or own the data infrastructure stack, it's a jump start to it by saying that already 2,000 segments are there, 600 million profiles are there. What the system does is that it lists out all the segments, so segments which come from, say, Zepto, they come from Razorpay, they come from ShipRocket, all the partners, and it's a white box to begin. This is not a black box. Our marketing partners exactly know the 20 partners. We expose them the richness of the segmentation for every partner and how they are organized on this tool. So they come and select, like if I'm a CPG brand, I may come and say, I want people who are cheese buyers. So cheese buyer as a segment they select. And then they just press the button, order the segment. So in real time, we fire a API query and the audience segment is in real time picked up from Zepto and sent to your desired ad account. So you have instructed the tool that pick up chips buyer as a segment and send it to my Meta ad account or my YouTube ad account. So the segment in real, within 24 to 36 hours, like you place an order, we fetch it, and the file segment list goes into Meta Google, and Meta Google within 24-36 hours display that as a custom audience in your ad account. So this is how the system really operates. If you go ahead and build a segment where you say I want cheese buyers with a premium credit card who are D2C shoppers across all these, and you have layered many and or filters, within that combination, assume there are 5 data partners behind it. So the system fires the query to all 5, brings it on our DCR, which is a serverless DCR on Amazon, okay, cross tabs the segments, and then ships the segment into your ad account, and we also destroy the DCR instantly. So when a Zepto knows that we don't store any data, and the Zepto or all our partners, when a marketer generates a request, they have a dashboard, they exactly know that this is a request which has come to us from, say, Titan or from MTR. At this time, this is when the segment was picked, this is when it was activated, It goes in your ad account, and then your teams are running the campaigns the way you run. You know, and once your campaign stops, we send a notification that the campaign has stopped. The segment is lying idle in your ad account for 7 days. If you don't use it, we will purge the segment. So the marketer is also not storing the segment in this case. You know, so that's how the system works. So it basically is a way we've said that how can you borrow intelligence on the fly, but not store it. Because and in an asset light model, in this light model, what it does is that you're constantly saying that consumer habits are changing. Okay, so I can keep doing A/B test across segments, and I can keep them, you know, pick it, measure it, you know, and evolve from there. Yeah. So I'll just pause there because sometimes you know this is a technical architecture, but would love to have some feedback or any thoughts, any questions when you hear a tool like this, for example.
Basic clarification that when you say 640 million audience, how do you determine, because you have multiple signals, let's say a signal from Shiprocket versus Zepto versus Razorpay,
Correct.
and it is the same customer who would have purchased and got delivered. So how do you make it a unique audience is one query I have. And then, for example, you said cheese wire. I mean, these are still very unidimensional because let's say you can get it from Zepto, who is a cheese wire, but the entire aspect of layering multiple signals to come up with cohort, how do you provide that?
Okay, great point. So what we do is that the first part is about how do we identify the 640 million profiles which we have. So across our 20 partners, if I just give you a representation per se, Vodafone has about 140, 150 million consumers with them. Razorpay has about 350 million consumers with them. Zepto has some 90 million consumers with them. Okay, Shiprocket has some 140 million consumers with them. If Credit Mantri has some 40 million consumers with them. If I cumulatively add that, so there is an unduplicated user base across our partners, which is 640. And the way we do it is with the identifier, which is a hashed mobile number. So, like I said, that a consumer is leaving, in the transacting data, the identifier is a number. Fair enough. So that number is sitting either with Zepto or with Razorpay or with Vodafone or with Shiprocket. So that allows us to build the unique count of users. That's one. Now the second is for every segment, what we do is, now let us say when I used a very simple example of chips buyers. So we would know that these are chips buyers who have done the transaction in the last 3 months. Because we are also putting a recency, frequency and value filter in that. So we know that in the last 3 months, there is a list of mobile numbers which have bought chips, right? So that's a unique segment, and that could be like 3 million or 4 million hypothetically. That's a unique segment there, right? Now in that same period, if someone selects credit score, and the credit score segment is coming to us from Credit Mantri or anyone else, they also have a unique list of mobile numbers which are qualifying for that segment, right? So when I do a AND filter on both, that's when I get the intersection of both the segments, because the common identifier for both is the hashed mobile number.
So before on the tool, you will find on the right side. So when you are curating these audiences from the left, you are selecting multiple audiences. On the right, you will find the unique number, which is on top right. So estimated size is written, so that's a unique number. It's not a cumulative number. And in OR combination, you are able to get the intersection or the incremental.
So we do different intersegment and rate, and you give us the cross tab of.
You are able to see it in milliseconds. Okay, because from a planning perspective, you have to determine immediately across 2000 segments, and any combination you can play with. Any combination, like this is like fairly simple. There are brands who pick up like 60 signals, 70 signals, and they play with the tool themselves. Some brand comes, like in a CPG category, we heard very recently that, we want people who have stopped buying chips 3 months ago. Their problem statement was clear. Because they had an understanding that I want to target people who were earlier buying chips, but they have not bought chips for the last 4 months.
The lapsers.
The lapsers. So we're building that cohort. So just as you can get people who are in the market doing something, you can apply the reverse also. That I want to people who are not buying something. I can take signals from here and include them in a campaign in YouTube. Or I can do a reverse. I can take signals of, say, let's say from your point, a brand came to us, which is Xiaomi. They were targeting premium devices. So they took signals from us, some 90 million users, and they put an exclusion list on it. Because they instructed the algorithm that you will not touch these 90 million users. Because this is not my market. So you can play with.
So like for Neha, you can have your credit score, you can include income slab, you can also have somebody who owns up a car with, let's say, who's transacted for more than a year. You can pick up all those signals and do a cross-track.
Yeah, that's what my question
That-
was,
that
right?
was your
What's
answer.
the duration for which you store the data? Because insurance and both car buying, insurance is bought once a year, cars are bought every 5 to 6 years. But if the data is only representative of, let's say, the last 6 or 9 months, I'll never be able to get the signals that I'm
We
looking
take it
for.
real time from the partners. We don't store anything.
No, because the
No,
car
but
decision.
The car decision is taken
Decision
after
takes-
5 years, right?
Yeah,
so
right.
how
So-
do you then have
So
signals for
in
that?
cars,
or
for
insurance
example,
for
we
that?
know, in cars, great point, in cars, for example, we know people who've taken up auto loan, and we also have their agent. So we know that, okay, these are people who've taken an auto loan, and they have taken an auto loan where the aging is gone to like 4 years.
Sure. Then that's
Right, because so when we talk to marketing teams and they tell us, because okay, so when we started 4 years ago on the platform, we started only with 50 signals. Today we have like 2,000 plus. So the way we also expanded the segments were two parts. One, we started talking to n number of entities who had the signal, because then in their CRM systems we are able to understand that that's the supply of signals. And then on the demand side, when we are talking to marketers, they're pushing our boundaries, because through them we get further ideas of refinement. So then we match the demand supply requirement there between, because on one side we know that with these partners there is one narrative that unlimited supply of signals, let's bring that in and then filter that basis the requirements.
So primarily you get the category data, not the brand data, right? I mean, I can't target a competition saying that, if, for example, a cheeseburger or chips, for example, in the chips I want to target a Lay's, for example. People who are buying Lay's, I want to show only to them. That targeting, because that Zepto doesn't give. I mean, none of the quick commerce, they don't
Currently
share.
at a
Category level only they share.
Currently it's more like a self-governed thing at this point of time.
But is there a further distinction in that? Like chips now, lapsers is one thing, but maybe those have now moved to healthier chips or protein
Yes, you
chips.
can break that down into all those nuances. You can break it down basis someone like under tea, someone telling us that give me, organic tea or give me some other variant inside it. Like I want people who are indulging, like for example, even I use chips and there's an example of chips, like there is a very premium brand of chips from Pepsi called, what is it?
Doritos.
No, the Rock one.
No,
Red
Rock
one.
it's
Daily.
Rocky. It's a new launch with
Rock
Zeta.
Daily.
Rock
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that is a new launch with Zeta.
So now for that brand, they had an ask particularly. So many times, one part of our journey happens is that whatever segments we have, we kind of orient the teams, and then it inspires them to also demand more from us. So that's really how we are evolving the choices in that sense.
And
But
then,
help me understand one thing. So the granularity of the signal is something that you will be setting basis what your data partners can give, right? Or you can put an ask saying ki this is a granular.
I can. So what we do is that we have something which we called our Audience Pro Secure Bridge. So what the partner does is they're transacting segments.
Oh,
That table is available to us.
okay.
You know, how
At the full granularity.
yes, at full granularity, including the timestamp of the transaction. So that, because we want to make it easier for them. So from a data partner perspective, the way they see us is, because when we are closer to the demand side or to the brands, right? They are helping us get more and more granular in our orientation, you know. So we are able to then put a script there and organize the taxonomy technically. So converting their data to a meaningful taxonomy or a segment from a marketer perspective is what we do. So that we also we don't put that overload on our data partners. Because when we have to evolve something, we need the flexibility to evolve it very fast.
But are all your partners giving you that under Secure Bridge real-time
Yes.
live? Like I would be surprised if Zepto is giving you a real-time data.
No, they give us that. Because okay, what is the whole point here? A, we are not storing anything. So when you see a segment size here on the tree, and the sizings are there, it can create an impression to someone that if we are representing a segment size, that means we are storing the data. Okay, we don't do it. So we have decoupled the planning exercise from activation. The planning of segment versus activation. So how we do it is with our partners. We have a methodology, a technical methodology which is called sketches. So their real-time transaction data is first converted into a sketch file. The sketch files are with us, so that in milliseconds we can do the cross-type. And the sketch files don't store any user data.
They store mobile.
No, they don't store mobile. A sketch file is a binary file. It's a data science methodology which allows us to build intersections, because we have to intersect between and or combination. Like we cannot run if a system had to real-time scrape 600 million profiles and 2000 plus filters, the compute power needed to go through raw numbers and data, it's unviable. Like it's a huge cost if the system has to process that and produce an outcome in like a few seconds, right? So we can't do that. It's unviable, right? So the sketch methodology is a method which allows us to take it's a representation of the count and allows you to build intersections. So when you're building intersections, you are able to build that intersections with 98% accuracy. It makes it a bit lossy on the planning stage, but it gives you the output in milliseconds.
So you provide a dashboard also, right, after the campaign starts? Because for dashboard you need to store the data, right? To
No.
see,
No. So think of us.
And once the campaign is deployed,
Campaign is executed by our teams on Google and Meta. We have shipped the segment
So that
directly.
view is with you.
oh,
We are actually leaning on to your team.
You already have we are not changing anything for you. You're already using the Google Meta dashboards.
no, but just for me to get it right, let's say when you're creating a sketch in real time, because you are passing on the mobile number as a data signal to
Yes.
Google and Meta, that anyways is captured as part of the sketch, because then I have to target.
Okay, so once the sketch is there, so on the tool what you're seeing right now, when you are building a segment, you see the sketches. When you place an order,
Activation is.
when you want the segment, that's when we fire that this is the segment request. That's when we get the hashed mobile number.
Okay, got it.
Got it? You know, so only at the time when you place the order for the segment and you have instructed to activate. It's like I go to Swiggy and I place an order, and then the logistic delivery guy goes to the restaurant to pick up the packet. In the same manner, once you place the order,
And in that second of placing the order and getting it, because I'm assuming that data is going via your pipe,
yeah,
then are your systems not storing it, or the pipe is between, let's say, signal came from Zepto or Shiprocket and going directly to my Google and Meta.
so what happens is, you're right. So when we pick the segment comes to our AWS cloud, there is a serverless DCR setup, not even our servers. It is called a serverless DCR. It's an instance which gets created, which is a temporary folder to pull the segment files from multiple people, and then from there it is sent out, and the whole DCR is destroyed at that very moment. Okay, and that audit trail of the segment coming to our DCR is visible to all our audience partners, and we cannot edit those records, right? So it's a transparent. So my data partners have a dashboard that at 9:27 a.m. in the morning, ITC raised a segment request. The segment went to a Pro DCR. Like the way today on a e-commerce app, towards the end you see the whole packet movement, right? That you placed an order, it's left the warehouse, it's on its way. In the same manner, they get the full visibility that it's come on Audience Pro, it's now gone into Meta account of ITC. The campaign is started by Meta on Meta, and now it is paused. So that the partner also, so it's a direct pipe. So so look at it this way, just as you require intelligence, entities have intelligence. So they want to lend you that intelligence in a very transparent manner, in a pipe which connects you to intelligence, and there is a financial reward for them. And the business model around this is an audience-based business model. So that's how this tool is kind of helping.
I have a query. So is there any feasibility of pushing my audience also here?
Yes. So for example, many brands who have their own first-party data, they can also deploy a sketch file. So if you say, what's your objective? If you say, like we work with a large brand, I'll tell you, like Bluestone is one example I'm giving you. We work with 300 plus brands in the country. So we have this one customer called Bluestone. They have offline data, shopper data, and they have online shopper data. So what they do is that now in their system, they are knowing that these are people who are coming and buying high value jewelries, low value, SKU, this type. So they cut it by multiple pieces, right? So what they do is that they deploy different segments and they generate insights from our tool first. So they can go ahead and upload a segment, a sketch file, and get meaningful insights about their own users. So what does the insight mean for them? Like they want to know that, okay, if they have some high value shoppers, what else are they transacting?
Right.
So across the entire 2000 segments, they are able to generate a report in 3 minutes from the tool. So they get to know the overlapping. Can we just play that video? Just make it easy.
Hi, in this video, we'll walk you through how to generate insights from your 1P data using Audience Pro. Once logged into Audience Pro, select Segments Insight from the platform. Click on Upload Segment in the top right corner to add your 1P data. Select the country and choose the user key type, mobile number, or Google Advertising Identifier. Click Add New Segment, or simply drag and drop your file to upload. Audience Pro will validate the file and prompt you to name your segment. Enter an appropriate name to proceed. On upload, the platform automatically creates a sketch file and deletes the raw file, ensuring zero data movement. The platform begins generating insights. Within seconds, you'll see the initial insights with match rate and the most relevant overlaps of your audience with existing deterministic Audience Pro segments. For example, you can instantly view overlap with a transactor segment like finance and insurance. The initial report also highlights spend habits, transaction behavior, and transaction mode. Your uploaded audience will appear on the Insights page. Within a few minutes, a detailed report becomes available. Pro Copilot also suggests you audiences that you can pick from and activate. You can download the detailed report, and it will show match rates across 2,000 plus Audience Pro segments, helping you evaluate transactional and shopper behavior in depth. You can prune or refine segments based on overlap and continue optimizing until you reach your desired audience size. Once finalized, activate the audience on your preferred channel. With Audience Pro, you can generate insights of your 1P data, activate them across platform to drive measurable results, and optimize learnings to drive campaign growth. Audience Pro.
So you are easily able to decode which across the 2000 where your segments are over-indexing, under-indexing, and basis that you can instruct the platform to build a targetable audience cohort from the transacting profiles and then ship it into Meta. Or you can curate. You can tell the tool to do it, or you can self-curate, because out of the overlapping thing you can self-curate that, whichever segments, and it is broken down into even subcategories like recency, frequency, and that.
So that match rate is against my first party.
Against your first party.
I have two questions on that. One is, is there a specific format in which the data needs to be, my 1P data needs to be to get this insights? Is there a specific format that is, or it's just the mobile numbers?
No. So basically, from a data security perspective, you are giving us a sketch file, not a mobile number file.
Okay.
So we help you convert on your own premise mobile numbers into a sketch file.
Okay.
Yeah. So because from your data security.
So my 1P data is raw data.
So your raw data you're converting into a sketch file and sending us the sketch file. And a sketch file is a binary file. So when you internally tell your organization that I have to send to an external entity a sketch file versus raw data, you are not going to get an approval to send any raw data. Okay, and we also as a platform, from a compliance perspective, we don't want to take any raw data.
Absolutely.
Because when we are working with, say from a data security perspective, got it? Like if we are working with so many large partners, okay, we cannot store 400 million data of a Razorpay or 100 million data of a Zepto and put ourselves at risk, right? And them also at risk, right? So hence the whole thing is zero storage or zero data. So Sketch enables us with that.
And one more thing, your insights only tells the sort of overlap with the reach, or does it go into multiple other granularities? So I saw once you upload, you tell people who bought furniture, is this overlap, people who bought maybe four-wheeler, this is the one. That is the insight, or is there further granularity to that as well? What type of furniture or what four-wheeler?
So the depth of the segmentation, so whatever you see across on the tool, the 2000 segments, you get that depth. So before you even generate an insight, you know the depth of the segments available with us. That's on the tool.
So that can be drilled down further.
Drilled down to those 2000 categories. Yeah. And as brands are also working with us, they want to have bespoke insights. For example, one of the brands came to us that, okay, this is the behavior point, I have some data, and I want to figure out what is their preferred local language. Content consumption or local language. So we are like bringing in a bespoke partner like Desh, which is a keyboard application, and they have signals that, okay, these people's native language is Malayalam, Telugu, what is their preferred language? So that we can even layer that deterministic language preference. So one can keep adding more, because as we spoke earlier also, that the need for consumer intelligence keeps evolving, and what we are suggesting here somewhere is that if brand starts thinking that I want to build this intelligence, or I should have this intelligence.
So over the years it will be even evolve.
Even and more. So you could today say, okay, today when I have a tool like this, like we ourselves got together with these segments too, brought to you so many segments, but you can build on top of it. And we can help a brand to build further custom segments on top of it. So that your journey of building intelligence never stops.
Does it also work with CTV or?
Yes. So the way it works with CTV simply is that today when you take a segment and you ship this on YouTube, for example, and then you, on the YouTube campaign setup, you just select CTV.
So you decide the platform and then within the devices, mobile basically.
So it makes it easy for you, because you can take all the Audience Pro segments and apply also the segment layer of Meta Google. You can do further filtering. if you want. You know, and platform, like whatever targeting meta Google would have on top of it. So whether you choose CTV, whether you choose demographic profiles, whether you choose any interest profiles, it does not limit you from those choices. You can keep adding more. You know, there is one more thing which, you know, when we are talking segments, you know, can you show the Zepto slide? Can you just go to the Zepto slide? Show it directly. Sorry, the Pepsi case study slide now. Just jump to the Pepsi case study slide. So we just want to show you this slide also from a example perspective. In this particular use case, we took the chip buyer segments from Zepto. Okay, we shipped it on YouTube. Yeah, and we were measuring the lift on sales on the Zepto channel. Okay, so before this campaign ran, this product was selling on Zepto. So for the last, before the campaign, pre-campaign, for the last 2 months, what were the sales trend on Zepto? That was one data point. Then once we took the Zepto segments and took it on YouTube, and the campaign ran for 15 days, during the period of the campaign, what was the lift we saw on Zepto? Fair enough. And post-campaign also, how's the data looking? So pre, post, during, one was able to measure the sales.
But was it with the same audience or it was just on the platform for that particular brand? Because there could be some overlap between the audience that was shipped out on which the campaign was run, and there could be maybe a very small number, but that audience probability also will be there, right?
So we took exactly the same audience firstly. We took the audience of chip buyers from Zepto because Pepsi wanted to target that segment. That segment was activated, and before activating it on the same platform, the brand had a good understanding of what is the sales trend. You know, then the brand went after the category, you know, and through that, then on the same platform they were measuring the sale uptake during the course of the campaign and post the campaign as well. And the brand kind of muted every other activity, you know, to kind of do the appropriate attribution understanding. Should we, how good are we on time?
Actually, we need to wrap up now.
Okay.
We are past the
Okay. Any thoughts here? Any further thoughts here? Can you just show one slide, the audience planning slide, just one slide?
Sorry, just one clarification here. But isn't this anyways similar to the CPAS campaign that you do on Zepto or LinkedIn or like
So
what?
in CPAS campaign, you are taking the segment on Meta and taking the user to drive the click.
No, you're taking the segment from the quick commerce.
Yeah. We take the segment from Zepto,
Yeah.
put it on Meta. In this case also we took the segment from Zepto only, but we put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
We were doing an awareness campaign for the brand. In a CPAS campaign, you are sending the user back to the catalog page.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're taking that signal, doing an awareness campaign
Yeah.
rather than
Rather than the
taking
sale
the signal and doing the conversion campaign.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
But in a way,
Yes.
see, CPAS campaign also gives you reach and frequency. So it is actually an
But,
awareness.
but that is taking two Blinkit page, individual pages.
if people
It
go
is
to the
boiling
page,
down
it
to.
is- Yeah.
And it is opening up. You're taking that signal and going into the YouTube, taking the YouTube audience, YouTube universe, and showing the ad there. So, I mean, the alternate way is you can do a demographic targeting. That is the open one. Here you are taking 50 signals and making it more sharper. That's about it.
Yeah.
More sharper.
See, demo is something which they were actually doing the previous month.
Yeah.
And they measured the sales and everything, right? Cut to next month, they used this particular cohort. They again measured the same thing and they found the uplift.
See in the
But there's also one more kind. They do and they put 100% of the SOP on our. So It's not that 20 or 30% of your media budgets would be parked. It's the 100% budget.
So in this Pepsi case, so basically if it was an awareness, so video was the only
Yes,
inventory that they
yes,
was left
Yes.
on.
Yeah, so they drove video because the brand also had a goal that if they want to do awareness, they want to do awareness with the right post.
And was there any redirection or landing page to it or no? Nothing?
No, nothing, just awareness. Because finally on the bulk of because for a video campaign it's awareness, right? But for a CPAS campaign it could be clicks.
Deepak,
Yeah,
sorry,
cool.
you can go to because
Got it. We can come.
Hi, so sorry, but we can continue down once
Sure,
and
sure,
we can
sure.
just maybe gather for a group bit and then everyone can sit down and continue the conversations down there. Thank you.
Aisha, before we leave, for the bingo piece, we'll discuss this part.
Sure, sure.
You missed it out actually, so
Right.
we'll
Okay,
catch up later.
sure, sure.
See, we had few more slides, but I know the conversation got very engaging. We'll probably connect with you. I know this is such a subject.
yeah, we have the networking dinner downstairs. Upstairs.
So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll take a group picture against that.